And
important.
speaking of reality TV, I've decided to go back to the Braxtons because remember last season I was a friend to the show.
Okay,
For real?
congratulations.
Yes.
So, y'all, the latest word is that the producers behind the Braxtons are just about at their breaking point with all the behind the scenes drama. According to reports, they had to halt production after a major argument broke out between Tamar and the other sisters. Now, Tamar may have said she wasn't returning to the show, but let's be honest, she's still very much in the mix. Supposedly, during filming, Tony got so fed up that she walked off set, and sources claim Trina is heated that Tamar brought their niece Ashley on camera to rehash old issues with her ex, Gabe. There's also talk that money is fueling a lot of the tension, with Tony and Tamar reportedly taking home the biggest paychecks, which has rubbed others the wrong way. It's been a whirlwind on set, to say the least. As many of you have already seen, the Braxtons were picked up for a second season by WETV, with plans to show the sisters reconnecting and getting back to their roots with some laughter and bonding, especially while preparing for Tawanda's upcoming wedding. Tawanda already made it clear that her ceremony was invite only, no extra guests, and no phones allowed, so it's likely the cameras will capture most of the big day. That is, if production can actually continue. Right now, filming has come to a halt again after yet another blow-up involving Tamar. You already know people are saying, of course it was Tamar. Word is, Tony left because she's tired of the tension and reminded everyone that before Tracy passed, they had promised her they'd stick together. Clearly, that promise isn't being honored, and the vibe has gotten even worse. Adding to the mess, none of the sisters showed up for the premiere party of Tamar and Miss Evelyn's cooking show. Allegedly, a serious argument broke out 2 days before the event, which led to them skipping the premiere altogether. Now, I can understand if they didn't want to support Tamar personally, but missing their mom's big night too? That's just plain wrong. So far, the details on what exactly is going down are scarce, but Tamar is clearly in the middle of it all, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's partly due to her rocky relationship with Tawanda. Just recently, Tawanda posted a not-so-subtle message saying, "To those who've pulled away, stay there." If you watched Season 1, you already know their relationship's been tense. In one scene with a grief counselor named Spirit, things got uncomfortable fast when she asked Tawanda how it felt to not have regular contact with Tamar. Before she could even speak, Tamar cut in to say Tawanda doesn't care. She went on to explain that Tawanda seems more invested in her relationships with Tony and Trina, and usually only reaches out when filming is involved. In that episode, Tawanda also shared that she couldn't even remember the last time she had spoken with Tamar. What she did know, though, was that Tamar didn't reach out to her for her birthday in September, even though the episode was filmed back in March. It clearly weighed on her because Tawanda seemed completely over it. She mentioned that her focus now is solely on the people who live under her roof, meaning her kids and her partner. So, when she recently posted that anyone who's chosen to distance themselves from her should stay gone, a lot of folks assumed she was referring to Tamar. Then again, it might not just be Tawanda. At this point, Tamar could be beefing with the entire family. Let's not forget, a few months back, Tamar deactivated her social media accounts, both Instagram and X, after a heated online meltdown. Though she returned shortly after, the damage was already done. Before she went offline, Tamar aired out some major grievances, calling her whole family toxic in a series of posts. But this latest wave of tension might not just be about Tamar's usual clashes. There's also the situation with their niece Ashley, who's set to appear in Season 2. It seems that stirred up even more drama, especially since Trina reportedly isn't happy about how she and her ex, Gabe, are being pulled into all the chaos. If you recall, Ashley made some serious claims not too long ago. She said her stepmother and her dad, Michael Braxton Jr., discovered messages between her and one of her aunt's partners that were highly inappropriate. At first, her aunt was supportive and upset about what had happened, but over time, Ashley says that support seemed to fade. Eventually, her aunt started acting like Ashley was somehow part of the problem and even shifted the blame toward her. Through therapy, Ashley says she's come to better understand what happened and how to process it. Still, she made it clear none of this was her fault, and she should have never been in that situation in the first place. Ashley also hinted that the man involved had a public platform and never addressed the situation. To make things worse, the family continued spending time with him afterward, acting like nothing had ever happened. At first, many fans believed Ashley was talking about Tamar, but Tamar quickly shut that down, saying it wasn't her. In fact, Tamar expressed strong support for Ashley, saying she'd be happy to bring her onto the show and that Ashley knows she's loved. As more details came out, people began to think Ashley was actually talking about Gabe and Trina, especially considering Gabe's questionable behavior and the fact that Trina stayed with him for so long. Ashley herself seemed to confirm it when she liked a TikTok comment from someone suggesting that Gabe and Trina were the ones she was referring to. Not long after that, someone else left another comment about Gabe that got people talking again. It seems pretty clear now that the situation involved Trina and Gabe. Someone came forward saying Gabe once tried to initiate contact online with their 17-year-old transgender cousin, even offering to fly them out to Atlanta and put them up in a hotel near the airport. The whole thing was allegedly documented, but attempts to share it on social media got blocked. The intention was to warn Trina about what was going on, but those efforts were shut down. Trina ended up facing a lot of backlash, especially since people believe she was well aware of the kind of person Gabe was. Despite years of infidelity on his part, she still managed to shift the blame toward her niece. People claimed she turned a blind eye to his behavior, even when there were rumors that he was involved with both men and women, had highly inappropriate fixations, and some extremely troubling obsessions. Now, word is that producers wanted Trina to film a one-on-one scene with Ashley to discuss the allegations, but she refused. She allegedly threatened to pull out of the show completely, saying that it wasn't her place to speak on that situation. That alone may have caused serious tension on set, especially since Tamar was the one who brought Ashley in. And to add more pressure to the mix, there's also the topic of money. Sources say that both Tony and Tamar are being paid the most out of everyone, reportedly landing six-figure deals, not just to star on the show, but to help create new programming for the network. Even Evelyn, their mother, is getting pulled into the drama this time. She's now speaking out about Vince, Tamar's ex-husband, saying that the public never got to see who he truly was behind closed doors. Evelyn claimed that while people viewed Vince as a great man, her daughter's reality was very different. And to top it off, Michael, her ex-husband, has started bringing up the past as well. He said he's already apologized for his infidelity during their marriage from 30 years ago and doesn't know what else he can do to make things right. But Evelyn isn't letting it go. In fact, she's writing a book about her experience with betrayal and how she eventually rebuilt her life. As for Miss E, there's been growing talk online that maybe she's at the heart of all this family tension. Some fans are speculating that the sisters may actually be holding resentment toward their mom. But instead of addressing it directly, they're redirecting that anger toward each other. In some families, that's common. Siblings argue with one another because it feels safer than confronting a parent. At this point, maybe the show has run its course. The dynamic between the sisters seems more forced than ever, like they're only maintaining relationships because they share DNA. If they weren't related, it's hard to imagine them keeping in touch at all. Still, I'm sure Season 2 will bring all the drama fans expect. But while we wait, I really want to hear from y'all. Do you believe Trina avoided taking accountability for how Gabe treated Ashley? Or is the real issue Tamar? Or maybe even Evelyn? Drop your thoughts down in the comments.